All right. I'd like to call to order the Monday, June 29th, 2026 meeting of the FAMPO Policy Committee. Rise, do you wish to the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Move on to a roll call and determination of quorum. Mr. Lyon.
Will McIntosh.
Present.
Crystal Benoot. Here. Chris Jakubowski. Dante Diggs.
Present.
Susanna Kidd.
Here.
Lori Hayes.
Here.
Greg Kenyon.
Here.
Shannon Holmes. Here. Drew Mullins.
Present.
Robert Schneider. Emily Young.
Present.
Philip Correa. All right, Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you so much. Item 4, approval of the agenda. Well, I would like to want to add one item to the agenda, right, Mr. Alice?
Yes, we received this letter on Friday noon, so it was late to make it available to policy committee members.
We add that on like as item 8G.
Sure.
All right. Let's add item 8G.
The letter.
The letter regarding potential
Express lane
two-way
study.
express lane study.
That was the best thing.
Okay. We have a supervisor. Okay. So with that amendment, do I have the agenda?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Agenda's adopted. Let's move on to item 5, public involvement. Do we have any members of the public here who would like to address the committee? Mr. Watkins? Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Policy Board. I'm Al Watkins from the George Washington District and staff. Appreciated the heartfelt concern for my whereabouts when you got to the public comment part of last month's agenda. I realized that, in fact, I vacation. I missed you all as well. Since returning, I did get right back to everything being busy. Apparently, the Potomac organization took interest in doing CTAC meeting, publishing 2 articles in the past week. The authors, though not in attendance at the meetings, got some of their AI reporting right, but not all. Chairperson Yolanda Hipsky did an excellent and admirable job as our chairman, and I'd like to thank her for her leadership the past year. Also, it was Joe Brito and not Rupert Farley who brought to our attention that Stafford County had proposed additional river crossings within the comprehensive plan. More on that later. If I could, I wanted to do a presentation, and if you want me to speak, my video plays, I will do my best.
All right. I guess we can watch video on mute. And I'd like to speak, Mr.
Yeah, my words are on the video, but I'll do the best to stay along. At the June 10th CTAC meeting, it was discussed how studies can be funded, which generally comes down to the localities asking for them. Updates were received on Safe Streets for All, the Complete Streets Plan, the status of the TIP. After the lengthy, great discussion, recommendations made, prioritizing the 8 small-scale projects being put forth, plus officers were elected for the next round. Now, this isn't going to work on this one. I'm just going to read. River crossing was also discussed. You may recall that the consultants' LOS modeling identified that when not comparing the bridge to building a bridge, that for the southernmost intersections in the city and Spotsylvania, delays will no longer be, will be longer when building a bridge versus not building. Now, does that mean that we should just sit idly by and accept that and do nothing? Of course not. If a single bridge does not improve the situation, it can be done. Lack of improvement was one of the main reasons that CTAC's very different option C made a different recommendation, one that involved the entire region and could be a solution. Essentially, CTAC surmised that to ease congestion, provided travelers who desire to travel between Stafford and the city do just that. Provided travelers who want to travel between Stafford and Spotsylvania have their own separate opportunity, with a route due south across the river and over the low-lying river road, protect the rural character of the road. Being that both Spotsylvania and Stafford counties intend to add additional river crossings to their comprehensive plans, including the route that CTAC presented, Only through further studies added to the CLP will modeling predict the impact of what this additional route might have on both the plans crossing into the city and the entire region.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Do we have any other? Okay, do we have any letters, Mr. Lang?
Except for the one that we got on Friday, which you read.
Right, which we're gonna add to the agenda later. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to item 6, consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? Not, do I have a motion?
Consented.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Alice, administrator.
Thank you, Chairperson. I can probably just do, just a couple of items. The Virginia Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations, or FAMPO, had their annual meeting last week. And we had one of the new Deputy Secretaries of Transportation, Ms. Laura Schewel, present at the meeting. And I have to tell you, her presentation was extremely impressive. If we are looking for somebody to address any of our committees, or if we're looking for somebody to give us advice, she certainly was extremely impressive. Her background is that she founded the Streetlight Data software system, and she's now become one of the deputy secretaries. In 3 months, she's learned a ton about the Virginia transportation system, right? And she's already able to make presentations that, the mind boggles how much she knows already about our system, having been there for only 3 months. She said to me afterwards, it's been a lot of briefings by a lot of different divisions and a lot of information that she's absorbed. But I was certainly super impressed. And it's great to have people like that in the leadership of the state, often make comments on elected officials, but her presentation was fantastic. And I do think that she's somebody that we might wish to invite to FAMPO in the future, apart from other people, of course. And tonight we have a guest speaker. All the office bearers were re-elected to the same positions that we all had. So I was re-elected as the vice chair of FAMPO again. Next slide. This is just some of the things that she shared with us in her presentation. So the next 2 slides are not mine. They come from her presentation. What the goals of the administration are with respect to transportation. There are 5 pillars: improve transportation safety, make transportation more affordable, slow climate change while building resilient infrastructure, accelerate economic development via transportation, foster good governance, transparency, and accountability. Next slide. This was an interesting slide. She has already, working obviously with staff and others in the state, analyzed the cost of running a 2-car family with regards to transportation in every state in the union, and looked at those expenses, including the financing of the automobiles, the insurance, the maintenance, the cost of the gas taxes and other add-ons, etc., registration fees. And the sad news is that Virginians, according to their comparison, are paying the 2nd highest in the country for operating transportation for a 2-car family. Now, I don't have further information than what she provided in the slide, and I've written to her and asked if she could give us some more information about this. What is it about the transportation in Virginia that is more expensive than elsewhere? Is it the cost of the car? Is it the cost of is it the taxes? Is it the gasoline prices? Is it the insurance? What is it about that package? So I can't tell you that answer tonight, but this is definitely something to watch, and I'd like for us to understand why that is. So I'd like to ask her to provide that information. It's a very important study that they've been doing behind the scenes. Next slide. Consultants, you approved that we begin the process of looking for new consultants because our all consulting contracts end in September, and it takes several months for us to do the whole process of putting out an RFP, getting proposals in, looking through those proposals, scoring them, choosing the preferred candidates, bringing a recommendation to the TAC and to you all to consider. But we've started the process. We've issued the RFP. We've received 18 expression of interest letters, which is more than we got 5 years ago when we were doing this. So that's a good number. We've had a first conference call with all of the applicants, and we are going to work towards receiving their proposals and then having a staff panel review all those proposals in order for recommendations. That's just a quick update. Next slide. The Build America 250 Act. This is the markup bill in Congress. This replaces, it's the 5-year transportation reauthorization bill. So this bill will replace the Infrastructure and Jobs Act of the previous administration. The House bill has released its markup version. It retains the additional funding for MPOs. It reduces the match required from 20% to 10%. Currently, what happens is that VDOT pays 10% of the match, and local jurisdictions in our region pay the other 10%. This bill would reduce that match from 20% to 10%. I don't know what the split will be. VDOT will split it in half. We'll find that out. It increases the CMAQ and STGB funding. Quite a lot of increase in STGB funding, which will make you all happy because you'll have more funding for projects in your jurisdictions. It eliminates the carbon reduction funding, but does shift that funding into the other programs. There's a new bridge funding program, and it channels more funding into local jurisdictions rather than state level. So it's a shifting of the whole process, and MPOs will both be funded in a better way, but also have more funding for projects to fund projects in your jurisdictions. The Senate, next slide, please. The Senate bill has not been released. So the Senate has 3 committees, Federal Senate, Environment and Public Works, Commerce and Banking. Those 3 committees each have to review the bill, come up with perhaps their own bill, and then for the Senate to take action. They have not yet. So because they have not yet, they're not likely to be able to approve this bill before the midterm elections, which means that they're likely to extend the Infrastructure and Jobs Act for further months with an extension bill until they come back from the midterm elections, in which case they'll finish the process and the Senate will release their bill, and then there'll be collaboration between the 2 houses. So we don't yet have the final version. It's going to change. It's already changed. The proposed bill had quite a lot of funding for rural transportation planning. Some of that has been removed. So it's already had some changes. It will have more changes. We don't know what the final version is, but just to let you know, staff are watching this process, and we will let you know the outcomes. But it does look like it's better for local jurisdictions and better for MPOs to do planning. That's where we are now, just so that you're aware. Next one. Coffee with a planner. Eugene, in August or September, will give you a better briefing, but just to let you know, we had our first coffee with a planner day, and we designed this as an opportunity for members of the public to just walk up to us and talk about transportation, talk about planning, because they don't understand something, or because they want more information, or they want to know how the process works. First one we had at what we call colloquially Bread Central, which is the FXB Go Transportation Center and Greyhound Center on US 1 in the city of Fredericksburg. We had quite a number of people pop in. One woman drove all the way from Stafford to come and attend. It was a really good event. Lots of people asked lots of questions, and we were able to brief them. We're going to do some more of those. We're going to do one in Stafford. We're going to do one in Spotsylvania. And it's really not to, it's not about decision making or asking them for input. It's about being available to answer all those questions that they don't have time to come here and ask, or we don't give answers here because we don't answer the public in this meeting. So that's a chance for us to give answers just to the public. We think it's a small thing, but it's one way that the public can get access to information and can ask us for things. Next slide. The way ahead, Smart Scale final deadline for submission is August the 3rd. More about that on the agenda today. The build grant awards are imminent, and we applied, remember, for the build grant to do the NEPA environmental assessment and some more traffic modeling for the river crossing bridge. The awards should have been made public on Sunday, which is not a work day. It's very odd. But the NOFO says that in terms of federal legislation, we have to make the awards by the 28th of June. So we haven't had any awards. We haven't received any notification. There's nothing up on the website. So we're assuming that they probably made the decision, but they're taking some time in notifying everybody and they're not finished with something. So there was nothing today on the website. We did check, but it's imminent. Within the next, I don't know how long, we should have the answer. It's supposed to be done before the end of June. We will keep checking and let you know if there's any notice on that. The long range transportation and progress update is on the agenda today. Various deadlines, various things that we're working on. Just a reminder, there's no policy committee meeting in July. July is the 1 month when we're in recess. We don't have a meeting. The next meeting, as it says at the bottom of your agenda, will be in August in this very room. So please don't arrive for a meeting on the 3rd Monday of July. There'll be nobody here except you. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Any quick questions? Otherwise, I'm happy to move on to it.
Any questions? Okay,
Good.
thank you, Mr. Ollis. That was very quick. All right, let's move on to item 8A. We're joined by Joshua M. Collins, the Assistant Vice President, Coalition Against Terror.
Mr. Collins is online, I believe. Mr. Collins, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can, and we can see your video on the screen. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Just a quick question. Do you want to run through these slides? I was going to try to do a little bit of a truncated version of this. I can just tell you go to the next slide, or if you want to share the screen with me, you're actually talking about the Build America 250 Act, and how that ties in with our issue. Really appreciate that setup, actually, because I'm going to get to that. Did you want to just roll through this? I'll kind of try to do the introduction about Coalition Against Bigger Trucks and kind of the baseline of what we do, but I want to be cognizant of your time. I think this is a pretty simple issue to talk about, but I do want to talk about it in the context of what's going on with the highway reauthorization bill. So if you want me to just say next slide, we can do that.
Sure, that's Mr. Lang. Is that okay? We can just hit next
If
slide.
you just say next slide, we'll change the slides.
Excellent.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for having me here. Really appreciate it. I know I've talked to a lot of folks that are on the committee already. They know a little bit about this issue. Some of you may have heard about this issue. It's not a new issue. Bigger and heavier trucks. This is something that has been beat around in Congress for the past, I would say, 12 to 14 years. It tends to ebb and flow anytime an infrastructure bill expires. IIJA is expiring in September, as you just saw. So there was a big battle over this on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee back on May 21st with our organization. That was kind of D-Day for us because T&I is really the hotbed of where this truck size and weight stuff starts. If you want to go to the next slide, just give you a little bit of background here. So Coalition Against Bigger Trucks, we are a national nonprofit. We do work across the country. We have, actually, it's 3,500 individuals and organizations. We work in all 50 states, but there's 7 of us that cover the whole country. So, we try to work where we can, when we can. And Virginia is actually my home state. I'm based in Chicago. I grew up in Roanoke. I went to VCU, so I lived in Richmond for a while and then Northern Virginia for 8 years. So I do understand this area. I definitely understand I-95 and all the corridors. One of the most frequent questions we get is, how do you get your funding? Where do you get your support? Our coalition, the folks that actually kind of do the outreach, it's kind of like 2 prongs. Local government officials are obviously a very big part of this because of the impact on local roads and local infrastructure, small infrastructure, which is caused a lot of times by overweight trucks. But we also do quite a bit of work with public safety groups. As you can see, law enforcement, we work with the trucking industry and the railroad industry. And that's where we get our funding. A lot of times people are not surprised by the railroad industry because there's a little bit of competition between railroad and trucking. But I will say they are also each other's biggest customers. So they work together on this. I'll touch a little bit on why rail is opposed to this and why the parts of the trucking industry are opposed to this. Next slide. So this just kind of gives you a very simple breakdown of the three issues that are being discussed. The one that I'm going to touch on the most is the first one. What has been kind of battered around in TNI and some of the biggest proposals that barely, just barely made it into Build America 250 Act are based on weight. One of the biggest ones is a national weight increase. They're calling it a pilot project, but it's a pilot project that lasts 10 years. Any state can enter into it. And the biggest thing is there's no additional funding that would go either to state DOTs or to local governments to make up for increased infrastructure damage, particularly to roads and bridges. Now, two of the other the longer trucks get more attention. I'll give you a little bit of background here. In the past 10 years or so, there have been proposals to lengthen the double trailer trucks. Generally, these are the ones you're going to see on I-95, you'll see on the Beltway. They want to add 5 feet to each of the trailers. Um, as far as infrastructure damage goes, this is something that's specifically more damaging to pavement. Our public safety allies are very nervous about this because there have been studies done and track testing on these longer doubles, and they take another 22 feet to stop. I'll touch on that later. The triples issue, we don't hear about it as much. We have not heard about it in this Congress. But every few years there are bills that come up um, to allow triples. They're not allowed in Virginia right now. It's nothing to worry about. There are plenty of states out west, west of the Mississippi, where these things are allowed. There are certain companies that care more about pushing the heavier trucks, and then there are companies that care more about pushing the longer trucks. So all three of these proposals are in our wheelhouse. Next slide. So just to give you a little bit of idea on who is the coalition for bigger trucks, a lot of folks, you rightfully so, assume, oh, well, it's the trucking industry, I'm sure that wants bigger and heavier trucks. That's not necessarily the case. Really, this is the push for bigger trucks is led by Americans for Modern Transportation and the Shippers Coalition are the two groups who at times seem defunct and you don't hear from them for a couple years and then they light back up, particularly when there is a new infrastructure bill on the make. The truth is, the trucking industry is very divided on this. Um, a lot of the trucking industry is part of our coalition and does not want to see heavier or longer trucks. They kind of have their own business reasons for that, particularly um, Truckload Carriers Association. They represent a number of major companies, and the way they look at that is, the system that's designed today with the 80,000 pound maximums on interstates and federal highways, plus exemptions state by state that you can get for overweight loads, oversized loads, and that sort of thing. The system is built, and they've been able to become accustomed to that over the past 25 years where we've had the 80,000 pound limit. Some of the bigger folks, some of the larger carriers, they want this stuff. Usually very honest about its profit motive. What's not addressed though is how do we pay for this in terms of additional damage to roads and bridges? How does this impact local governments? I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But again, this is just to make the point, Teamsters, Truckload Carriers Association, and the owner operators, OIDA, they represent really small mom and pop trucking companies. Sometimes these are companies that might just have one or two in their fleet. The way they look at this is heavier trucks, longer trucks sounds good to some of the big guys that kind of have the funding for the upgrades and the trailers they would need. For them, it's not in their best business interest because they would have to compete with that and wouldn't necessarily be able to carry these heavier loads or longer trucks that are being requested. Next slide. So just to give you an idea of, these are some of the national partners we work with. Again, local government being a focus, but law enforcement very strong on this. I want to point out National Sheriff's Association, IACP, National Troopers Association, as you might imagine, has been active. All three of them have been coalition partners for over a decade on this. There's a whole safety component I won't go into because I think it's in some of the slides and some of the material that I sent. But you may see some others on here, National League of Cities, NACO. In Virginia, specifically, some of our statewide partners, VACO, VML, Virginia Association of Chiefs of Police, they have all been longtime supporters on this, both due to the infrastructure and the safety concerns. Next slide. Okay, so this has some of the data in it, and I know you guys probably have this. Some of the big thing, there was a US DOT comprehensive report that was put together at the request of Congress. It's about 10 years old now. But to date, it is still the most comprehensive apples to apples comparisons and tests of what happens when you allow heavier trucks on the road. One of the things they found, they looked at states that already allow heavier trucks on state roads and sometimes local roads. One of the biggest things they found a particularly higher crash rate with the 91,000-pound trucks that are being proposed, now part of the Build America 250 Act, at least on the House side. 47% higher crash rate with those trucks. Some of the other things they found with the longer doubles, longer stopping distances, higher fatal crash rate, and a lot more bridge and pavement damage. A lot of out of service violations. You talk to folks that are certified in commercial truck inspections. They'll tell you anytime there's an out of service violation, you can see the stat here, 362% more likely to be involved in a crash. Let's go to the next slide here really quick.
Can I just ask
So-
a quick question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
The out of service violations, like that's when they're not in transit to bring their goods somewhere. Like I don't understand what are they doing out of service?
Illegal
Yeah, so-
parking,
Parking?
illegal parking.
Illegal. Okay.
So out of service, this is a very large, and I could actually find it for you, a very large list of violations that effectively, put it this way, if there's an out of service violation, and talking with our commercial vehicle partners, that it's so serious that truck will be shut down on the side of the road and towed into town to make any of that. A lot of times it's braking, suspension, tires, like key safety components. Now, there are a number of other issues, driver out of,
That's why I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I got it now.
okay, yeah, it's a very long
I
list. Yeah, and some of the key safety
Got it.
components, though,
Got
some of
you.
the key safety components are usually what leads to crashes and causes crashes. But I want to focus it on infrastructure, and I'm looking at my watch. I want to try to not go over here. One of the big things that was left out of that US DOT study, excuse me, they only looked at damage to interstates and federal highways. One of the things that they weren't considering, and one of the things that has really been kind of hidden when this is being discussed, is there's no truck trip that starts and ends on an interstate. And if they are to increase this to 91,000 pounds, it's not like they're going to be a 91,000-pound truck is going to be exiting the interstate and unloading 5.5 tons right there at the exit. They're using locally maintained roads, bridges, culverts, other small infrastructure that local governments pay for. And what we were able to do is kind of look using federal highway bridge data, and we've been able to figure out state by state, county by county, how many bridges would not be able to handle the 91,000-pound trucks that are being proposed. And we can actually apply a very conservative cost tag to that. Now, we can't do that by city, but we can do that by county. And I'm happy to go through later on and send some of that county level data to you. Next slide. Okay, so I'm gonna skip all this because all of this kind of went out the window on May 21st when there was a markup of the Build America 250 Act. So, and this has always been the case when this issue comes up. This has never been taken up as a standalone bill. It's extremely unpopular. We, over the years, when we've been able to get just enough funding to do it, we've done polling on this. If you ask 10 people, hey, how do you feel about being on the road with heavier and longer trucks? At least 9 of them are going to say, I don't think it's a good idea. The folks that are pushing this understand it. They know that there's a lot of local government opposition, strong united law enforcement opposition. So here's what they did. They ran last minute amendments. There were a number of them. I listened to the whole thing. It went till after midnight. And 2 of them pertain to truck size and weight. There were actually more, but 3 of them got canned. The 2 big ones, though, 91,000-pound pilot project that I told you about, just passed by just a handful of votes. There was another one, and I wanted to mention this, the auto haulers. It's the second point on this. This is a permanent weight increase. This is not a pilot project. This is forever. This allows auto hauler trucks to go up to 88,000 pounds. Now, unlike the pilot project, this doesn't require any additional axle. It doesn't require any additional safety equipment or training. It's just a raw weight increase, right? And I know you have a lot of these, you see a lot of these on 95. You see them on the Beltway going to and from. So this is a permanent weight increase. That one passed by just 1 vote. So these were very contentious. They always have been. And that's where I want to kind of plug in a little bit to where we're at in terms of Build America 250 Act. The overview before me was perfect. I saw all those little kind of divots and where we're going to in the future. I was just in DC last week. We did a number of meetings on the Senate side trying to get ahead of this. Right now, and of course, things change on a weekly basis. The appetite for this particular House version over in the Senate, even with the majority party, even with Chair Capito, we're not seeing it. If something comes to fruition, if the House passes their version, which is not a guaranteed, there's still a high likelihood of an extension. Now, right now, they're saying it's going to be a short extension. It won't be, like it was 10 years ago. They had extensions that went 2.5 years when previous infrastructure bills expired. Doesn't seem like there's an appetite, but from our perspective, we are playing as if this is going to pass the full floor and get over to the Senate. Next slide. I'm almost done, I promise. This is some Virginia specific data here. I'm not going to go through all of it. All you folks kind of know, you see it, you see the traffic on 95, you see the diversion on Route 1. I'm thinking US 17, you see it on state roads, and then you also see trucks that use GPS systems that don't know that they're a truck and they end up on local roads. Happens all the time. It varies from municipality to municipality, but it causes a lot of annoyance and complaints from residents. And the biggest thing is when they're considering this at the federal level, they really aren't thinking about small infrastructure damage. They don't think of damage to curbs, sidewalks. They're not talking about signs, traffic signals, super expensive. Now, the inventory of those can vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. There are some states where the state DOT pays for that, but in a lot of states I work in, it's the unit of local government. It's stuff like that that really adds up quickly. Those costs aren't even accounted for in our bridge data that we did here. So just some very Virginia specific stats. Again, I could pull a lot of this stuff, including crashes, fatalities, and injuries by county upon your request. But this is just some of the broad picture stuff. And the next slide might be the end of it. Yeah, that's just the capstone and just a reminder of the damage that heavier trucks do. And just to kind of tie this back to the rail industry too, one of their biggest things is, especially along corridors, heavily trafficked corridors like 95, for instance, the economic analysis of this, and there have been several studies that have been done in states where they've raised their weights on state roads. What they've seen over time is that it changes the cost component to the degree where you start to have modal shift. So, let's say that you've got a certain amount of stuff that's moving by freight rail along the 95 corridor. Well, we know that that's taking trucks off the road, right? If you change the weight and the maximum length of these things, the cost component over a few years starts to change. So you have, let's say you have a shipper that's doing 75% truck, 25% rail right now. Well, as the cost component changes, they start to look at that and say, now that I can pack, another 5.5 tons on there, or we got another 10 feet of cubic space, you know, it's going to save me a lot of money. I think I'm just going to do all this. We're going to start doing this by truck now. So the long term of this is you're taking stuff off a freight rail, you're putting it on trucks and more trucks on the road, right? That doesn't become immediately apparent, but there are a number of case studies in other states where we've seen this happen, a modal shift. I'm going to stop right there. I've already went 5 minutes too long. Any other questions? Just kind of off top here.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Collins?
I do have a question for Collins, and I'm not sure if it's an appropriate question for you, but in the local community, for example, right off of 95, there is a shopping mall where all these big trucks are just congregated, and it's just going to be even busier with some of the plans that we have for North Stafford in that area. Are there any particular rules or I don't know what to call it to get them off the road, because the sheriff at this time cannot do anything.
Sure. Yeah.
And not just an annoyance, but it's just accident waiting to happen with these larger trucks trying to turn into a mall, and then people are sitting on that major road. It's a secondary road. It's going to be a major secondary road, prime road.
Yeah. So, this is something I hear about all over the country. Now, quick question for you. Are they going into the shopping mall to make deliveries, or is this a question of
No,
truck
they're
parking?
truck parking.
Truck
Yep.
parking. It's a
Many a
huge
day.
issue.
The word has gone out.
Yeah, that's actually, so we don't work specifically on that issue, but we do work with truckload carriers as one of our trucking partners, and OIDA, and it's a huge issue for them. They have went to bat for more federal funding to build parking facilities. So this nationwide plague of trucks, not only on local roads, they're also parking, you've probably seen it, exits on interstates, gas stations, Walmarts, in hotel parking lots without authorization. And it is a safety hazard. One of the things, since we don't work directly on this issue, but we do support partners to get more funding, there's a few things. We hear this a lot. Oh, we'll just put signs up. Truck sign prohibitions. No trucks longer than this, no trucks heavier than that. The problem is, even communities that are doing that, there's just not enough enforcement to do. You can put signs everywhere. You can put them on bridges you can post bridges, you can post them in residential areas. The fact is, the trucking industry is changing, and a lot of them are training drivers that are. It used to be drivers would have 6 months of training, on the road training, they'd be with someone else. The industry has changed to the point where the training is more like 6 weeks, and that's if you're lucky. And a lot of times they're using GPS systems that are not designed to recognize this is an 18-wheeler, this is a tractor trailer that I'm directing. So they're using the same GPS that, you or I might use in a passenger car. We're aware of the issue, and kind of the way we look at it is, don't make it worse. If you can imagine a twin trailer that's another 10 feet long, and they're parking, they're going to be blocking even more, creating more safety hazards. Particularly with the longer trucks, there is sight distance issues and blind spot issues. So it's something we're aware of. We don't work on that. Ours is just truck size and weight, and it's kind of a niche issue. But it kind of does feed into this, and that if you have heavier trucks that are harder to maneuver, and now you have drivers that are, this is not really a lifetime career for most people anymore. This is a 6 month, 1 year job, and that's where we're at. That's kind of outside of our purview, but I hear you, I hear it all the time. And I do know that our trucking partners, particularly with parking is an issue, and training, are both working on that within the context of this bill.
Okay, Mr. Collins, you have an ask for the policy committee tonight? That's
Yeah,
something
so
we should consider?
So what I wanted to, well, first of all, thank you again for having me. What I wanted to do is, because I do this with a lot of individual counties, cities, but also planning organizations, is put together very simple, sort of like a non-binding resolution suggestion to Congress, kind of talking about some of these Virginia specific, well, let's say region specific, for you folks, issues that are already faced. Usually what I try to do is identify the number of bridges that would be affected, local bridges, we're not talking about VDOT, local bridges that would be affected, how much it would cost, number of crashes, and I can tell you in almost every state, there's some exceptions, the number of truck fatalities has been going up and up and up and up ever since COVID, ever since we came back to real life and everybody was on the road. And it seems unabated. I wanted to put together a very quick one-page resolution. I guess possibly get it on your next agenda for discussion consideration. And that's really what we do. We're not lobbyists, we're organizers. We talk with, I do at least 25 meetings a week with local government and law enforcement. Most people don't know about this issue. And when people don't know about this issue, that's when something happens where it passes underneath the radar through last minute amendments. So that was going to be my ask. I wanted to put that together. And once I do that, you can advise me who would be the best person to send it over to. I know every regional planning organization has a different sort of consideration for that and process. So any more questions you have, I'm going to put that together. Who would be the best person just as a draft to send that over to?
Just send me the draft and I'll circulate it among the members.
Okay.
That's here.
Yeah.
That's here. I get to say that.
Yeah, is everyone fine with that?
A resolution from the FAMPO.
From FAMPO,
Okay.
right, which I guess then we would
Just
share with
before-
our congressional representatives for this region, right, letting them know how we feel about this legislation.
I'll circulate it to members and then you can all decide if you want to amend it or if you want to approve it or whatever you want to do with it. But I'm happy to do the admin.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions or thoughts from the committee?
A quick question.
Yeah.
Mr. Collins, that data you mentioned that you can share about counties,
Sure.
is that something we can find or is it y'all's
Yeah.
own data?
Yeah, I'm happy to do both. I can just send you the numbers and then I can send. Now, when you pull, I can tell you, pulling the crash data from the federal motor carriers, it's a little wonky, but I'm happy to send instructions. The bridge data is much easier, and I can
Yeah.
send you the link.
I'm thinking more like Spotsylvania County roads, bridges, culverts, things like that. Like
Yep, absolutely. Yep, I can pull that. Yes.
yeah, that works real
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Collins, just for your information, we don't meet in July, so
Okay.
we would take this up at our August meeting.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And the way things are going right now with the, you reviewed it really well I mean, this is going to get kicked down the road, I assume, but we don't want to make assumptions because there was a time where we heard, oh, T&I might not even mark this thing up, and boom, all of a sudden there it was. So,
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Thank you very much.
right.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
So we move on to item 8B. The resolution approving the ranking for regional smart scale round 7 project application. Ms. Hughes.
So moved.
Wow.
This is let's see what it is first.
Okay, context. You do good pretty very late. Staff, this discovered that it's a new requirement. We have to rank all of our regional applications and those ones too, you'll find. So this is what I'm asking for tonight, your approval on the ranking that the tax has recommended. So this is our proposed regional application rankings that the TAC has come up with for your approval. So whether Darcy's or anything.
Oh, I'm not now.
Unless you have any questions. You're okay with that?
Is that?
Yes.
Seeing the order of these.
So
Go ahead, Ian.
sorry, if I could just interrupt. You've seen all these projects before. You've seen the list of 8 before, but we have to rank them from best to worst. And that's what you haven't seen before. So the order in which they occur is the new thing.
So you said best to worst, one is being
What is
best.
that?
So number 1 would be the best project in that list. Number 4 would be the least good project.
Can you say, but you mean by best versus
Okay.
worst?
So we're.
Yes.
They're here. They're all
Yeah.
really good projects.
Best to last.
We were told that we need to rank them as far as like our priority.
It's our priority. It's
Yeah.
not right. It's not quality of process.
These
Right?
are all priority. Because good year. We had to give them a ranking. Because sometimes CTV members choose to champion one if they're given a choice. And so they want to know what our most important ones were. And this is what the tab has recommended.
Okay, I have a question on I-95 widening southbound. Is that a lane coming off 95? Is that the road itself?
This is another lane on 95 or general purpose lane on 95 going southbound. 36, and there is a reason it is number 4.
So but why isn't the state taking the VDOT itself, the state taking, why are we taking this one on? No, we already discussed it. but-
We already discussed it and approved it.
Mhm.
That has been a regional application of ours for many years,
Gotcha.
mostly just to let the state know that it's important to us.
Okay.
But it is number 4 on the list
For that reason.
because of something else that's going to be on the agenda.
The proposal came about because VDOT built extra lanes to exit at Route 3,
Yeah, to 130.
but it stopped just after Route 3, and then the lanes all blended, and it creates like an afternoon bottleneck.
Like what used to happen in Stafford.
Yes, so they're trying to move that further south, and so FAMPO has for the last 3 cycles of small scale asked for this lane to be extended. So that's where that comes from.
Okay.
Okay,
So you need a
motion to
motion?
approve.
Yes,
Yep.
I do.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you. All right, item 8C, sample letter. The Honorable Nick M. Donahue, Secretary of Transportation.
So Chairperson, this one will be real quick as well, because you did approve a similar letter with the same project. And
Second.
You can't second.
I'd like to thank the public just who were paying attention for the new member speaker.
And on that.
Yeah,
So I read the letter. It just seems like it takes you a while to get to 11 pages. Why, I don't, it needs to be that long.
can we let Mr. Ellis finish his
But I'm just-
presentation of it real
Oh.
quick first? I would like for him to finish his
Yeah,
presentation.
oh,
Yeah, and then we can
Yeah.
discuss.
so Chair, the letter isn't 12 pages, there's a report. And the letter is just the cover, really. The report of 12 pages is making the case for why Route 3 should be considered a corridor of statewide significance. And yes, and so we've done this before, a year and a half ago we submitted this to the previous administration. Now Virginia has a new administration, and the suggestion is we should try again, because last time we didn't even get a reply. And we're asking at least for a reply.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
I just think it makes sense. You know, like reading through the 12 and looking at the map, it just makes sense that Route 3.
The only thing I was saying is that in the executive summary, you should be saying what you want right then and there. You have it on the 12th page, so that's why I thought that you should, that's what you're looking at. The heading says it, not in the first part of the summary.
We can amend the first sentence if you'd like.
Just move it around.
Don't
Chair.
mind.
Is that normal that you don't get a response back when we send something?
It's a mixed bag. My almost 6 years of being here, we've written probably 3 or 4 letters to the secretary, and we got a reply to 1. Now there's a new secretary. I don't know what the new administration's approach will be to receiving letters.
Oh, I appreciate if you could do that and then move everything else in the addendum, because simply you talked about Laura, not this Laura, the other Laura, with all the expertise. I'm not sure why the street light stuff should be in there. They know about all of that stuff, so. To have something in the executive summary would be great versus having that in an addendum. Switch it around a little bit.
So we will just put a sentence at the beginning saying we request that this becomes a corridor of statewide significance, basically.
I think that's great.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone who teaches writing, I like a clear topic sentence.
Subject, significance.
Yes. All right, and
Transition sentences too.
yes,
Thank you.
anybody else? So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All abstentions? All right,
Done, that was quick.
we shall send the letter. All right, let's move on to 8D, the resolution directing a public comment period for CMAC, STBG, and CR funds.
Good evening. So earlier on the agenda, we approved our major CMAC list. Since the last open public comment for that list, we had a couple of revisions come in from Stafford County and then a letter from the city of Fredericksburg. If we go to the next slide. Stafford County staff have requested shifting funds off of a previous STBG project, Harrisonville Road widening. We're not allowed to switch CMAC funds to a winding project. However, Stafford County has reorganized that project that includes turn lanes rather than through lane capacity. So the project's been amended. And so we are redistributing funds, but the project is also getting a slightly new name and scope, so that requires us to do public comment. And so we have adjusted the fundings as per Stafford County's request. In addition, the city during that time requested to swap $50,000 around. And so just so that we didn't have a spreadsheet magically populate new numbers without the public being able to see it, we're putting that on this amended list as well. So we're asking the committee to open public comments so we can adopt this.
So it's not new money is what John is saying. None of this is new money. The jurisdiction just asked us to move money around. That's it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes. So is there a way that we could, I mean, this is significant funding for over 6 years. I'm wondering if we could put it by category and by project. Was there a way we could do that ourselves? Because it seems like is it a PDF? I thought it was a PDF. We can't move those ourselves, right? To see, because I would like to see them by category and by jurisdiction. Yeah.
I can provide that if you.
That's all. And then there were 385,000 going to Fredericksburg Go. A study again. So I'm wondering, the last time we talked about the study, is this something different?
This has got nothing to do with the FXB Go project. These are City of Fredericks. Not in this one. The first list, which was in the consent agenda, includes that study. But FAMPO Policy Committee approved the funding for that study 3 years ago. Yes, about 3 years ago already. That's not new money.
Okay.
It's long ago approved, and they've asked just to tell you, FXB Go's asked FAMPO staff to assist with that stuff.
Okay.
So we're going to be assisting on that project this year, but it's old money. It's like 3 or 4 years old now, and now we need to get it done because the money is going to lapse if we don't use it.
Chairman?
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? All right. Good. Awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, let's go on to item 8E, the resolution approving a slate of officers to serve in fiscal year 27.
Chair, as you know, the office of chair rotates between the jurisdictions. It's an automatic rotation, so it doesn't rotate between individuals, it rotates between jurisdictions. So the rotation now moves to Stafford County nominating the chair, Spotsylvania County nominating the first vice chair, and the city of Fredericksburg nominating the second vice chair, and we do this once every year in June. The new officer takes over on the 1st of July. So we would like to receive nominations. We've left it blank.
Notes for chair.
Are we taking these one at a time then?
Yes, if we could have the nomination from each jurisdiction one at a time, and then we can vote for them all together.
All right, and I'll nominate Drew Mullins for the first vice chair.
And I'd like to nominate Janet Holmes for second vice chair.
Do they all accept the nomination?
He's shaking his head.
Gosh, you guys are so enthusiastic. My gosh.
Are you okay?
Voice, right?
Chair, if you could just ask then that we vote to elect the 3 office bearers as a group. We will then fill it in and bring you the resolution to
Sounds
sign.
good. So we have Supervisor Banush nominated for chair, Supervisor Mullins for first vice chair, and Councilor Holmes for second vice chair. Do I have a motion? Oh, well, I guess there's a motion. I guess all in favor.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of you and welcome. We look forward to working with you as your staff.
Excited, except for you.
Becky,
Only one- No, you're the only one.
could you go and type the names in?
When the
and
fiscal year
one to
is
sign?
over.
Thank you.
Yeah. July 1st.
Agenda is mine.
There you go.
So I will stand up and go like to stand up here while I read you a resolution. And then I guess we'll need a motion in a second. So recognizing the dedicated service of Will McIntosh,
Got it?
whereas the
Portrait
Fredericksburg
button.
Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, also known as FAMPO, serves as the federally designated metropolitan planning organization for the Fredericksburg region. And whereas Mr. Will McIntosh served with distinction as the chair of the Fredericksburg Area Metropolitan Planning Organization from July 2025 to June 2026. And whereas Mr. McIntosh carried out his responsibilities with great diligence and dedication, and now therefore be it resolved that the Fredericksburg Area Metropolitan Planning Organization expresses its deepest appreciation and most sincere thanks to Mr. Will McIntosh for his dedicated service as chair. This is adopted by the policy committee at its June 29th meeting. So may I have a second, I guess?
Second.
Perfect, very good.
All those in
Sign
favor?
that.
Aye.
And we even have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show her to look at.
Yeah.
A really good angle. Like Lori's name, but
Very good.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate this. This is,
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for your service and keeping us on point and all that. It's not always easy herding cats.
I appreciate that.
And you do a great job.
Thank
so
you.
Very much appreciate
I
it.
spent enough time with college freshmen. You guys are tame by comparison, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. All right, now let's go back to business. Item 8G, the VDOT letter regarding the two-way HOT lane study.
Yes, we received this letter, Chairperson, at 12 noon on Friday, so it wasn't included in the agenda packets because we only knew about it on Friday. It is a NEPA study, so an environmental study to complete a study on adding express lanes to I-95. And if you look at the map, which is on the back of the second page, it encloses the study area map. And there you can see it goes all the way down to Spotsylvania County Parkway. So the idea is to basically get rid of the reversible lanes and to replace them with permanent lanes in each direction. So VDOT is calling that bi-directional lanes instead of reversible lanes. It will mean, according to this, it will mean that we're going to have to add lanes. So we will add lane, or not we, VDOT would, or actually in this, probably the concessionaire, which is probably going to be Transurban, would add 2 express lanes in Stafford County and then 4 lanes from Stafford County across the bridge through Fredericksburg, through Spotsylvania, down to that. I don't have all the details right now. What I have is what's in front of you. But Chair, when I've finished, I suggest that we ask our board member, Greg Hanyonin, in August, if he could in August make a presentation. Greg, you could in August make a presentation?
Yeah, we should be able to have something that we can walk through to give the highlights of what is currently being discussed.
Okay. The key thing for this study, and the reason I gave you the copy, is that it asks a number of questions which I need to answer on your behalf. And if you look at the very back page, subject 95 express lanes bi-directional project request for information. Describe any potential positive or negative impacts if this gets done. If available, we can provide any documents. Are there any current or future transportation project in proximity to the project that you believe should be considered during the project development? I'll give an example of one that you might wish to consider, which is the Harrison Road potential interchange. I don't know what the impacts will be, but that might be something you want me to fill in here. It's in our constrained long range plan currently, so it is something to be borne in mind.
Can we also add the potential VCR trail crossing of 95?
Sure, I can add whatever you wish me to add.
Okay, yeah.
And then please provide any additional comments. So the reason I'm showing you this is because I need to write this response. I just want to hear if there are any particular items you want me to include in the response. This just starts the process, right? So this NEPA thing takes, I don't know, a couple of years. So it's a long process, but they're starting the process and they want to know if we have any relevant information to give them as they start the study. So that's anything you want to tell me. And feel free, it says I should respond within 30 days, which is going to be before you meet again in August. So you feel free to email me. And if you have any concerns, I will add them and I'll make a letter and I'll respond to them on your behalf with whatever comments you wish to include. Yes, I'll draft it up and I'll circulate it to you all.
We send our information to everybody back, so everybody.
No. In terms of FOIA rules, you should never do that. You can communicate with me because that I'm not a member of the board, so I'm not subject to that kind of FOIA issue. But don't respond to all 11 of each other because then it becomes a meeting. And we don't want a meeting. So just respond to me and I'll collate and send you the final draft. And then if you don't like it, respond back to me. Because we're not supposed to, otherwise I have to call a meeting and I don't want to call a meeting.
So I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Sure, yes.
Does something like this have any impact on our desire to finish the lanes down to 126? Like, would this get in the way of, would that requirement change the priority of it? Because it would, this is 10 years away before this even happens, even if it gets approved, right?
Maybe not quite that long.
Okay, 7, right? Yeah, so am I making is my question clear that
You want to know about what impact this would have on
getting on 95?
The issue is about right of way, first of all. Is there enough space to put express lanes plus another general purpose lane? And I don't know the answer.
So it's a fair question to ask. I don't think there is a hard answer.
Would they want to ask that question in this document?
It's certainly reasonable to do so.
Well, I actually have a kind of a bigger question along those lines that's maybe for you, Mr. Henyon, right? Do you know if in our 3 jurisdictions, if the right of way is wide enough to allow for this widening without taking a property? Or should we anticipate taking some?
There would be, I believe there are right-of-way takes that are anticipated. They are minimal.
In our jurisdiction, right?
Through the entire corridor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Question. Wasn't there already a decision made to take the expressway all the way down to Richmond at some point?
No. We don't have a decision made to do this piece today.
No, I know. Somehow there was something I thought that, this is gonna go all the way to Richmond. It's been, in the 30 years in this area, it had something.
Yeah, the third rail CSX corridor, third track. Now I'm making my own mistake. The third track is ultimately meant to go all the way to Richmond, but that is a rail line, not the I-95.
No.
That one.
I-95.
That one they did say would go all the way to Richmond eventually.
I would like to just, I think in this, I would like to just express concern that we minimize property takings, right? I'm encouraged by what Mr. Henyon says, right? That the right of way is mostly there. But I know certainly through the city, the right of way is constrained by pretty intensive development on both sides, and I'd like to not see it spread beyond.
So with your permission, I will write those things down. Please send me anything you've got in the next week. Then I'll collate it, send it back. And if you have any concerns about the draft, again, send it back to me so we don't get into FOIA trouble.
With questions.
I think so. I mean, should we do a straw poll on that subject?
That's why I just wanted to be very, very clear, like, I would like you to strongly support it, I think we definitely need
Yeah.
this. But
We have, it's a unique situation for us in particular because of the incompleteness of the HOT lanes currently. So we're impacted a little bit differently than our northern friends who already have.
Their congestion just moved down to us.
Right.
Is what happened.
Mhm.
You guys got that fixed and it just,
I mean, I'm not taking away from the project at all.
oh, no.
but I think it's fair to ask that question.
Right.
We are very supportive. Do
Yeah.
want to, we have this project going on, and for traffic mitigation purposes, we want to make sure, you know what I mean, that it would not impact it. I don't think it will, from what I understand.
Yeah, I guess where the money comes from, kind of the.
Australia.
Charles, yeah.
If there are any members who are not in favor of this, then maybe they could let us know. But what I'm hearing is support for it. I'm not sure if there's anyone who's not in favor of it.
I mean, personally, I'm in favor of it, but if it impacted, if it delayed in finishing the HOT lanes, then I'd have a concern. That's all.
This is the HOT lane.
No, it's delayed finishing the portion.
Their
that's
extension.
our extension.
Well, I think then the comment is, yes, for number 2, yes, we have planned extension. That should be included as a full project.
And
So that is the proposal, right? The project scope is setting it all the way to Spotsylvania County Parkway. My understanding is this includes the extension.
well, he's
right?
talking about the non-express lanes. This is building express lanes.
I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah.
So he's saying, can we still extend the non-express lanes down to Spotsylvania?
Your question is, does this project in any way
Hinders.
conflict
Yeah.
with the concept that exists today?
And
for
or
that
delays
fourth
that-
lane?
And
The answer to that is it's unknown. Because nothing has been advanced more to, like I said, pretty pictures on a piece of paper, but those would be things that it would certainly be reasonable ask as part of this process.
can we run it by Grant? Make sure
Question.
that he captures like that kind of language and.
Yeah, I have a question though, like, I know you're at the table, but are we the ones to respond if it impacts us, or do we have to go to our transportation team? I think you may have mentioned something like that. To our transportation team to say, hey, how does it impact us, if any of the project? Not us,
So
like you said, it moved it down to Stafford.
So to answer your question quickly, if you're all in agreement, we will ask Greg and VDOT to make a presentation at your August meeting right here
Okay.
to explain any impacts. And then you feel free to invite your staff to join the meeting and we can ask questions, and if Greg is able to answer them, he will. If he can't, I'm sure he'll make a note, and when that's available, send us the
The other
answer.
question I had, and I think I know what the answer is, the fact that this company is gonna continue, the one that already have it, Stafford will continue with it. So funding and everything, is there any way we could change the contract, or it's passing through Stafford, now it's extending to Spotsylvania, can they change the contract in terms of how much money per penny?
So none of that has even been figured out yet.
Okay,
We are not sure that this is a
viable,
financially,
okay,
there's been no financial arrangements made. We do not have full assurance that all the technical requirements that need to be there are going to be met. This is still very much an if. This project is an if. This project is not a full. And there is still this amount work through. This is just one of the earliest steps. And
you
the
would think that they would
first
know
part,
what
the end.
it would be before you start. It's either.
It's just an environmental study to see if this is possible. I don't think we're even to the stage.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Right, is my understanding, right? It's NEPA, right? Yeah.
Mr. Chair, you're gonna write, you have to write the letter before August though. So, yeah,
I've got
okay.
it within 30 days of Friday.
Yeah.
I have to send the response, which is why I'm going to do this offline, and I'm going to send you all a copy, and then you're going to send me any concerns or things you want added.
Right.
Just like we had to do with our study.
And we can certainly meet with your technical staff offline. You know, I already held one meeting. It was a virtual meeting, 3 months ago. We had like literally no information, but when this was initially discussed and mentioned at the spring BTCA conference, you know, we met with technical staff and FAMPO staff, like I said, about 3 months ago to walk through and explain that this process was very, very early stages and that there'd be more to come. So we probably would have very near future a little bit more to share, and you know, we can do that with your staff directly.
So I'll send it to you as soon as I have it. And please, if in the next week you could send me any things you want me to add, then I'll send you a draft.
But you're also speaking about transportation articles as well.
I've spoken to Paul and Matthew and Bailey in the city.
Stafford also.
Yes, Matthew Lahane from Stafford, who's our tech.
Okay. Item 9, staff and agency reports. Do we have any of those?
Chair, one thing from the staff. This hasn't yet happened, but our understanding is that Chris Jakubowski will be stepping down from FAMPO in the next couple of months. I don't know exact date, to pursue other things. And he's had many years of service on FAMPO. I don't know the exact number of years, but we can find that out. We'd hoped he might be here tonight so that we could just say thank you to him. But on behalf of the staff, we'd just like to urge that we just pass a vote of thanks to Mr. Jakubowski, and then the county will be nominating somebody to replace him in due course. So I expect at the August meeting we'll have a new member from Spotsylvania County.
That have been on for a long time.
So we
Did do something
we haven't done that. We did remember we had the cake and we had a big thank you and we made speeches and we had a whole thing. I don't recall that we had a proclamation before.
And cake.
I could tell Chrissy has to come for cake. He might.
I mean, we can. Would you let us know if he's available in August? We will get some cake. And you can pass a vote of thanks in person, but we just thought, in view of the fact that it might happen before our next meeting, we just thought we should pass a vote of thanks as a board to Chris for many years of service.
Does anyone want to make a resolution just informally for the record?
Yeah, I will. I'll motion for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So motion of support for Chris Jakubowski's many years of service, and the second over there.
Any discussion?
Any discussion? Cake, add cake, marble cake.
We will record in the minutes that there was the resolution with the support of all members.
Yep.
Yes.
All in favor?
Thank you, Chairperson. We'll do the necessary. And if he can make the meeting, let us know beforehand so we can.
We'll just tell him he has to come at the end.
At 9 o'clock.
Yeah, come at 7:30 for the cake.
Well, no, it's gonna be like 6:45 with Supervisor Venusian.
No questions.
All right, item 10, board member and chair comments.
I want to say thank you.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna hand it over to you, believe me.
I can make my 9 o'clock game.
All right, yeah. And with all that, enjoy your July off, and we will be here on August 17th. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
you.
That was actually quick when you think about the number of items.
So, Shannon.
Was not long.